Welcome back. Normally late at night, I'm talking to all you fine people on the internet about what happened in the NHL that night. And I've got two review boards, one that's finished, one that's about ready to go, and I'll get that recap done. But we need to talk about the news of the day again, because Jonathan Quick is apparently on his way to Columbus. Now, Jonathan Quick's had a bad year. I'm not going to pretend he hasn't. And I understand the move by Rob Blake. And Quick didn't have a no trade clause, no movement clause. It's not there. But apparently the Kings found out, and now they're flying home to LA. Quick is on that flight. It's awkward, apparently. Jonathan Quick apparently is really angry about this, basically, because he goes from a team that's in a playoff spot where he might have a chance to go on a run for that final year of his contract. This is probably his final year in the National Hockey League. And he's been traded. We don't know what he's been traded with to Columbus. We know that coming the other way, Korpisalo and Gavrikov apparently are on their way to LA. We'll find out all the other particulars. I've got the particulars here, the Kane trade. I told you it wasn't that simple. But the team and Jonathan Quick are apparently kind of ticked. And this came out after the game. And, I mean, we'll see how this trade goes down. For Rob Blake now, this team needs to do something in the playoffs, because if Korpisalo arrives in LA and doesn't play well, and if you look at goals saved above expected, I've seen the post about it. Korpisalo's at a plus 8.2, I think, and Jonathan Quick's at a minus 19. Like, Quick is not having a good season. I'm not making that argument at all. This is my Jonathan Quick jersey, though. And throughout my time watching hockey, even in years when I couldn't stand the Kings and I couldn't stand seeing the way they beat up on the Canucks, I had nothing but respect for Jonathan Quick. I always thought he was one of my favorite goaltenders. Didn't matter what jersey he was wearing, he was one of my favorite goaltenders. He went from, I thought, an underrated goaltender until the 2012 run, which I still say was the greatest run I've ever seen any goaltender have in the Stanley Cup playoffs. The 2012 Kings got there because Jonathan Quick. Really. They won that cup. Jonathan Quick won them that cup. And it's a sad ending, because he's going to Columbus, the 32nd ranked team out of 32 teams in the National Hockey League coming into today. He's not going to the playoffs. Basically, his season is now done. He gets to go to Columbus and be there for maybe 6 weeks. We'll see what happens, because for Jonathan Quick, this is towards the end. And if he's upset enough, what if he doesn't report? What happens then? Like, I'm not saying he won't. I think he's a professional. But at the same time, like I said, this is the last year of his contract, probably the last year of his career. And, I mean, it's a bit of a surprise. Now, the one thing I'll say about it is this, too. They've been trying to trade Cal Peterson. But nobody wants Cal Peterson's contract, which still has term beyond this year. So that contract is absolutely untradeable right now. Quick going the other way, probably a first rounder, probably a prospect or two going with him in exchange for Gavrikov and Korpisalo. And I find myself feeling bad for Jonathan Quick. And again, I understand he's having a bad year, hasn't been a good year for him, but for a guy who's won 2 Stanley Cups and really was one of the, I would say, along with Doughty, Brown, and Kopitar, they were the pillars of that team in the mid-2010s. And this is just a sad end. Has to be tough for Kopitar as well. It has to be tough for Doughty. They've been with him the whole way through, and it just has to be a rough time for them. So we'll see how the LA Kings navigate this, if this has a negative impact on the team. Because, again, Jonathan Quick, even if he hasn't been playing well, they've been outscoring their goaltending problems for the most part. Bringing in Korpisalo, he will be the starter. Copley would then be the backup. It does upgrade their goaltending. Adding Gavrikov on the blue line is a solid addition as well. And again, we'll see what the other particulars are in this trade, but I'm really surprised. So Minnesota traded for Nyquist, and we talked about that earlier, didn't we? And going the other way, they gave up a 2023 fifth-round pick to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Nick Jensen is not being traded by Washington, so he was on an expiring contract. He signed an extension, 3 years, and it's worth $4.05 million per season. So I would think that with the other selling that went on today, they've sold more than I actually thought they would. I wonder if Lars Eller's up next. And again, anybody who's on an expiring contract, either I would think they sign an extension or they're probably gone. The Caps trying to get what they can for these assets. Getting back draft picks, getting back prospects is the way to go for the Caps, a team that's older and definitely could use that. So, the three-way deal that took place today between Chicago, the Rangers, and the Arizona Coyotes. This, of course, to launder all that money. For Chicago, Vili Saarijarvi is going to Chicago. Andy Welinski, who's in the minors. A 2023 second-round pick, which is conditional, can be upgraded to a first. It would be a 2024 first and rolls over into 2020. It's 2024 or 2025 first. It's top 10 protected, so it rolls over into the next year if they don't reach those conditions. 2025 fourth is going to Chicago as well. They've retained 50% of Kane's contract. In order to get Kane to the Rangers, it goes through Arizona, who took 25%, so 50% of what was left of that contract they keep. They get a 2025 third-round draft choice, so that's not bad. Going to the Rangers, Patrick Kane and Cooper Zech going there, and so there you go. Patrick Kane's officially a Ranger. Apparently will make his debut on Thursday now, is what's being said. He will not make his debut tomorrow against Philly. He'd make his debut on Thursday. So for the Rangers, they're all geared up. They're all ready to go, and we'll see what happens. But let me know your thoughts on Jonathan Quick and on him being traded to Columbus, because again, it just... I understand it from a GM's perspective, but if this goes badly, fans aren't going to be very happy with Rob Blake. If Korpisalo comes in from Columbus and has a terrible run in LA, people aren't going to be happy, and it puts a little bit of extra pressure on Korpisalo as well, who again has had a good year. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.